live stream. Hope you're all well. Hope you had a nice weekend. Hope you're having a good trading week. It's been a bit slow, I would say. America was on holiday yesterday, so that hasn't helped. But yeah, hope you're all well, guys. Hope you're having a good week. And we are going to do the following in the live stream, right? We are going to take as many of your questions as we can, right? That's first and foremost. And I just want you to know, guys, we don't have to talk about trading. I know you're tuning in for trading, right? And I get that. And we can absolutely discuss trading, right? It'd be crazy of us not to. But we can discuss anything, right? Life, work, relationships, football, whatever you like, guys. All right. So don't be shy. Ask as many questions as you like about anything, really, as well as trading. I did have a trade earlier on that I got stopped out of. Well, I'm hedged at the moment. So we'll take a look at pound Canadian dollar. I was in that. And I'm also looking at potential Canadian dollar yen sell. So we'll take a look at that as well. So we'll start with those trades and then we'll move on to as many questions as we can possibly bloody manage, right? Also, let's take a quick look at the calendar. So it's been a reasonably eventful news day, but not much movement in pound or euro. Okay, we had some euro news and pound news, but we do have this later on. Okay, we've got this CPI data coming out of Canada. And this is important, guys. Obviously, this is inflation figures. And it's important because I'm also looking at Canadian dollar yen and I want to sell it. All right, so let's try and make sense of all of that. Let me just show you the first trade that I took, guys, right? And I find myself hedged. Let me remove some of these alarms. These were from earlier, so you can actually see what the hell I'm talking about. So pound Canadian dollar, right? We had a nice, right? We are in a downtrend. Okay, but we had a nice bullish candle that broke a key resistance level. Okay, H4 was also in an uptrend, right? You can clearly see that, right? It was in an uptrend. And then when I entered, guys, we entered on the H1 and that was in an uptrend, right? I actually entered on this candle here. Okay, so you can see H1 was in this uptrend. It's nicely at the moving average 20, which is what I want to see as well. We had a nice bullish candle and I started buying here, right? And I had quite a tight stop, but justifiably so, right? This is coming down. I had a hedge, guys, not a stop loss. I had a hedge position here, but stop loss, whatever you use to protect yourself. And as you can see, I got hedged and I'm still in this trade. So yeah, and this is what I'm going to do. Basically, I'm still in this trade. I'm still looking for buys, right? Because of H4 is still nicely in an uptrend, right? It's retracing to a nice area of support. And if I end up getting a nice bullish H4 candle here, something that looks like that, then I may well exit my hedge, right? Put a new hedge down here and then let price carry on up to here. All right, we shall see. But yeah, pound Canadian dollar, that was my trade from earlier. And I also like Canadian dollar Japanese yen. But this is an interesting one, right? So if we look at the day chart, right, as I've explained, yeah, in my morning analysis vid, okay, we are in this downtrend stroke range, right? We've had these bearish candles, right? We've had these bearish candles. And if we drop down to the H4, we're in a H4 downtrend as well, right? Clear as day. I was going to say clear as mud, but that's the opposite, right? This is clear as day. We're in a downtrend, moving average 20 coming round, right? So we like the H4, we like the daily. I want to sell Canadian dollar Japanese yen. So you're probably thinking, why haven't you, right? We've had a bearish candle at our resistance level. And yeah, and you could enter on that candle, right? I would really realistically want to put my stop, quite a bit above the moving average 20 and potentially take price down to these lows, if not further, right? But if we look at the H1, it's literally at the moving average 20, right? And the moving average 20 is good dynamic support and resistance. So on the H1, we have broken down, right? It's all going off. I think these are old alarms. I'm not interested in pound Swiss franc. So Canadian dollar yen, we have broken this low, right, with this bearish candle, okay? We've stopped making higher highs and we've broken this low. I am interested in selling Canadian dollar yen, but we've got the moving average 20. And you could quite easily see the H1 bounce off the moving average 20 and come back up to here, right? So that's why I haven't entered this trade. I also have CPI in the back of my mind. Obviously, that's coming out in a couple of hours or so. And what I'm going to look for, guys, is this, right? We are already in a H1 downtrend, right? We've broken this low. Now, if price comes up, and then let's say CPI or whatever drives price down, we end up getting a nice big bearish candle like this. That is one of my better candles, I must say. Yeah, I'm quite chuffed with that. Let's just take a second and appreciate how accurate that candle is, because they never are. Then I'm really interested, right? We've then got lower highs, lower lows, and I would actually start selling on this candle, and I would put my stop loss above this H1 level with a view to taking price back down to these lows here, right? And I'll get my 1:1. So that's what I'm going to wait for with Canadian dollar yen. I just want to see that moving average 20 broken as well, okay? And that's where we are. So yeah, that's what I was in earlier. That's what I'm looking at right now. We have had euro yen. Okay, I'm interested in this as well. Yeah, we'll see what this H4 candle does. But yeah, I am interested in this as well. Yeah, if we get, I might even move this up a little bit. If we get a nice deep retrace on euro yen, because again, on this occasion, we was in a H1 uptrend, stopped making higher highs, price broke down, breaking these lows, and we were below the moving average 20, right? So euro yen ticked all of the boxes, but it's just, you're probably thinking, Tom, you're so pernickety, but it's not. It's just certain things make the trade not feel right. Okay, and I'm not a big one when it comes to feeling. I just trade my setup. But this candle, right, was quite a bit of a rejection. So do I want to trade that? But the H1 has broken down. So I'm just umming and ahhing with these yen pairs at the moment, right? I'm going to wait and see what happens when the American New York Open, and then we'll trade from there, guys. So yeah, we'll see. Even with euro yen, maybe if we end up getting a bit of a retrace and we end up with a bearish candle that looks something like that, I might start selling from that candle, right? Stops above here, take price lower. So not in any yen pairs as yet, but that's exactly what I'm looking at, guys, at the moment. All right. So yeah, there you go. Right. Let's see who is in the house. Booyakasha. Luigi, how are you, Luigi? Self-substation, stantination. How are you? And welcome. I see all your comments on the free Discord. We appreciate them. Brett, how are you, Brett? Good. Colin, how are you? Thoughts on Canadian dollar, Swiss franc? Okay, we'll take a look at that, Colin. No problem. Susie, hi. Yes, we got CAD news coming out later. Okay, and then we've got some other questions as well. Hi, Marcus. Hi, Andreas. Hi, James. Hi, Godwin. Hello, hello, hello. Let's start with Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, because this is an interesting one as well. And remember, guys, we can also talk about whatever you like, right? It doesn't have to be about trading. It could be about trading. It could be about trading experiences, doing corporate crap for years, whatever you like, right? We can talk about anything. Now, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc is an interesting one, right? And on this rare occasion, we are going to do a top up approach, right? Because we're looking at entries here, right? Now, I agree with you, Canadian Swiss franc is a potential sell trade. And if you look at H1, right? Bang, right? We broke these lows in here and in here, right? We started to get lower lows. So H1 is in a downtrend, right? And so that would suggest we can start selling, right? I would put my stops above here. And if you look at the H4, this is what makes it interesting and tricky, right? So this is a question for everyone right now. Please get involved, yeah, because otherwise this will die on its ass unless you get involved. So Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, right? On the H4 chart, what is the trend, right? So everyone right now, what is the trend on H4 Canadian dollar, Swiss franc? Leave a comment in the live chat. I'm going to have a drink of neat vodka. And guys, we'll get round to all of your questions as well. Zuzi, I'm seeing some good questions from you. Yeah, we'll get round to all of them. Okay, so we've got substantiation. Can you have an easier name for me, please? Mike, downtrend. James, down. Marcus, down. Godwin, down. Brett, ranging. Vid, Grabnar, down. Anyone else? Any more for any more? Get involved. Don't be shy. I don't buy it. Colin says uptrend, just to be a little different. Okay, good. Now, if I break this down for you, right, this is in an uptrend, right? You're probably thinking, Tom, you've gone mental. What's going on? So let's pick all the areas where price has reacted, right? Right? That is all the areas price has reacted. Okay, if you join them all up, that's your structure and trend. Okay, and I would say, right, these last highs were broken with this candle right here. Okay, and therefore that is a H4 uptrend, right? It's difficult to argue against that. These are the last highs in here, not this. This is not the last high. That is clearly the last high, right? So I would say this is in an uptrend, right? Well, it is in an uptrend. Now, I don't want to buy this uptrend because of this humongous candle, this bearish candle, which has literally happened at the moving average 20, right? So it's a real, tricky one, right? There's a lot of ambiguity here. There's a lot of subjectivity, right? And I don't want that in my trade, right? So I'm seeing uptrend. I'm seeing higher highs, right? but we've got this big bearish candle. So Canadian dollar Swiss franc is interesting, but the fact it is interesting makes me not want to trade it. I don't want interesting. I want everyone clearly selling or everyone clearly buying. And this is not clear yet, right? So yeah, let's see. This one will be really interesting, right? Let's see if it follows this H4 uptrend and goes higher, or let's see if this big bearish candle at the moving average 20 pushes price down. Now, what really guides me is the day chart. Okay, and looking at these candles, right, I would suggest, you know, price could come a little bit lower, right? But again, that would be against trend. We are in an uptrend. All right, so yeah, for me, Canadian dollar Swiss franc for those reasons is not a trade. All right, although I can see why people want to sell it. Yeah, that H4 candle makes sense to sell. It'll be interesting to see on the H1 what, you know, in here, if we start seeing big bearish candles, right? If we do, then perhaps price could come down. If we don't, right, then price may well continue. All right, so Canadian dollar Swiss franc, yeah, no trade for me right there. Guys, if you're enjoying the analysis, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash the like button. Please don't forget to come join our trading community, right? We've got like-minded traders sharing knowledge, ideas. You can have a chit chat. So please come join our free Discord channel. And also, guys, right now, let's hear from our sponsors, Pepperstone.
We are super excited to have partnered with Pepperstone, a world-class, award-winning broker. Not only will you benefit from raw spreads, lightning-fast execution, low commissions, and cutting-edge tools, plus a dedicated support network, but you can also directly trade on TradingView. Right now, we also have some great special offers when you sign up with Pepperstone, including a free premium TradingView subscription and exclusive access to the VIP Trading Academy. So are you ready to take your trading to the next level and make Pepperstone your #1 broker? Click the link in the description and sign up today.
All right, guys, so there you go. Yeah, come join Pepperstone. Great promotion at the moment. Free VIP Discord and a free TradingView subscription. Check it out. Right, we've got some good questions here. So one from Zuzi. Hello, Zuzi. How do you handle the stress of day trading? That is simple. This is a pint of vodka. I'm only joking. Don't drink and trade. You will spill it. No, jokes aside. So my, you know, and I always describe my trading like this. My trading is slow, methodical, and boring. And that's how I want it. That's how you want it, right? It is. You know, every day I just see certain setups and trade them, right? Sometimes I have no trades. Sometimes I have one. Sometimes I might have two. Okay? Rarely more than that. And due to the minimal trades that I take, because I focus over quality over quantity, it's not stressful, right? I'm just in a 1 or 2 trades max. They're very manageable, and I trade my plan. Now, the stress comes into trading when you're being an idiot. That's the only time stress gets involved, because if I have, well, not if I have a tightly knit trading plan, right? And I do all my analysis in the morning. I know what I'm going to trade and how I'm going to trade it, right? I look at different scenarios, different situations for me to enter that trade, like we did with Canadian dollar, Japanese yen earlier, right? Now, therefore, there's no surprises with my trading. I don't want surprises, and I don't want to be impulsive. So everything I do is pretty planned out and quite, like I say, methodical, and there's routine to it. right? So therefore, it creates very little stress, if any, right? Like I say, if you don't follow your trading plan, if you don't follow your money and risk management, if you are not emotionally right to trade, if you do any of those things, then that is when stress kicks in, because you know you're doing things that you shouldn't. You're like, oh God, I shouldn't have took that. Oh, and then before you know it, you spiral and you become emotional and stressed, right? You also become emotional and stressed if your plan doesn't cover every scenario, right? You should never be at a point where you're like, oh, I don't know what to do here. You should never be at that point in your trading. Yeah, you should be fully equipped to deal with every situation you find yourself. Now, obviously, some of that just comes from time and finding yourself in these different situations, right? But it should all be written in your plan. And I always say this, right? Your trading plan and how well written it is and how structured it is and how rigid it is and how watertight it is dictates how many emotions can get in, right? If your trading plan is quite vague, lots of emotions can come in because it's open to interpretation. If your trading plan is very rigid and well thought out, emotions can't get in, right? So I don't find day trading stressful. I have done in the past, but I've learned just to, follow my plan, and just slow, methodical, boring. Anyone who got into trading for the kicks of big money in seconds and I'm going to have a Ferrari by Christmas, I don't want to burst your bubble, but it's not going to happen, right? It's the tortoise versus the hare, right? You must know that famous fable story. And the tortoise always wins. It's the same with trading. Just slow, methodical, keep going, keep doing the same things, and you will have long-term success, right? Whereas the hare wants quick money now, and they will be here and gone in a year, 6 months, right? They'll give up. So there you go, Zuzi. I hope that helps. Okay, self-subs. I'm going to shorten it. Was looking at CAD too. Yeah, I'm not quite in it yet. We'll see what CAD does later. James Pinhorn is currently selling Swiss franc yen. Okay, so this was one of the trade ideas for today. You can see I've got my alarm in here with Swiss franc yen. Now, again, we've looked at the yen pairs quite a bit today, right? Daily chart. It's a bit of a no-brainer, right? In a downtrend, lower highs, lower lows. Nice big bearish candle suggests we can take price back down to this 167, right? Nothing's changed there, obviously. If we look at the H4, right, we have had, that was bearish, right, but not quite at our resistance level. And this has hit the moving average 20 as well, right? So, yeah, I can see why sells in here made sense, right? And they still do. I'm for this trade, right? I want to sell Swiss franc yen. Again, the final piece of the jigsaw is that H1 is in an uptrend, right? And it's at the moving average 20. It's at this support level and the moving average 20, right? Like Canadian dollar yen, I probably want to see something like this. Okay, then we get a big bearish candle, right? Maybe another one that breaks these lows, and then I can start selling with putting more probability in my favor and having more confidence in the trade, right? Stops above this swing high and then look to take price lower. All right, so yeah, I'm not quite in these yen pairs yet. I'm just waiting for that last piece of H1 structure breakdown. And then, yeah, I will be in these trades. So we'll see. But totally understand if you're in Swiss franc yen already from up in this resistance level. And yeah, you know, it's looking good, right? I just want extra confluence to take this trade. All right, and that's the same with euro yen, Swiss franc yen, and Canadian dollar yen. Let's take a quick look at CAD yen, see what that's doing. Okay, so this could be the candle, right? If I get this big bearish candle, Christ, draw that again. It's the vodka. Got to lay off it. If I get a big bearish candle that does this, right, then I'm interested in selling this, right? I will start selling here, stops above here, and I'll look to take price back down into these, maybe these lows here. All right, so we shall see. This will be an interesting candle with CAD yen very shortly. Remember, we do have this news coming out of 5:30, so in literally 1 hour, right, we do have CPI coming out for Canada. And this is important, guys, right? Obviously, it's inflation. So there you go. This is, yeah, all right, this is interesting straight away. Let's have a look at euro yen as well. Okay, so this is still coming down. Okay, it'll be interesting to see how these H1 candles finish with these yen pairs. Swiss franc yen, we're not seeing that bearish candle like we are the others. But yeah, looking good if that yen strength follows through. Right, what else are we looking at? Andreas, what's up, Tom? Any thoughts on oil? Yes, let's take a look at oil then. Let's do that. We're getting so many good questions coming through, guys. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look at oil. Now, oil, okay, it's dropping like a stone. No surprises there. Yeah, I mean, oil was just a sell trade for me, right? And I want to show you the monthly, right? So if you checked out my morning analysis vid, I explain oil in depth there, right? So it is doing this. This is where we're at. We're in a downtrend stroke range, right? That's where we are on the monthly chart. And just look at that monthly wick, right? You don't want to be buying into that. All you want to be doing is selling down to these lows, right? Then reassess what happens. Okay, the weekly, let's drag this across, right? The weekly kind of suggests this as well, because this was that important support and resistance level that's been hit many times, and now it's broken. Right, we've had a big rejection wick at that level. You know, we could potentially take oil down to 68 is what I would aim for. And then the day chart is in a downtrend, right? So this is again supporting the idea of selling oil, right? And this is where we're at. I would say if we get a nice bearish candle today, literally at the moving average 20, this could be a good sell trade back down to these lows, and then let some profit run. So, or, you know, and there's lots, you know, I always have this, it's not an argument, what's the right, you know, but there's lots of fundamentals going on with oil at the moment, right? But the fundamentals is oil weakness, right? And then what does the chart tell you? Oil weakness. Do you really need to, you know, be up to date with OPEC to understand that oil is in a downtrend and we want to sell it? No. So there you go. So yeah, I would sell oil, Andreas. That one is for you. What else we're looking at? So Brett, I post all my trade entries in the Simply Forex VIP trade idea room. Yeah, okay. So let's just mention this, guys. Right. So we have lots of premium education for you traders. If you want to improve as a trader, then we have something for you. right? So if you go to our website, www.simply-forex.com, we are giving you 25% off all of our education. That includes access to our VIP Discord, right? Also gives you 25% off our complete Forex trading course, right? It is so comprehensive. You should check it out. 25% off that. And you also get 25% off my mentorship program where I coach you one-on-one. If you're interested in any of those things, check out the website. 25% off until the end of February. Go check it out. Booyakasha. Right, what else are we looking at? Okay, thank you, self-subs. Tom's intuition should be great from all the years of experience. I'm also not ready to sell CAD yet. Okay, great minds think alike. Marcus, so not many Japanese, not many yen bearish fans yet. I am a yen fan, yen strength fan. Is that the right way of putting it? But like I say, I just want that final break of these lows here. Euro yen, yeah, a real pivotal hourly candle with these yen pairs right now. Right, what else are we looking at? Okay, so okay, Zuzi, what was your biggest trading mistake and what did you learn from it? Good question, Zuzi. Zuzi, you've got all the good questions today. Getting me thinking. Let me have a drink. My biggest trading mistake. Now, I guess one of my biggest trading mistakes was having 30,000 indicators on my chart, right? So that's, you know, I was looking for the holy grail of trading, right? And I would have a strategy with certain indicators, right? And I've used everything. I've used like Ichimoku, clouds, Hikanashi candles, MACD, ATR, RSI. What other stuff did I use? I've used some, you know, moving averages. I had like 4 moving averages on my chart at one point. And that was my biggest mistake. I was just lost in a sea of indicators, right? You should have seen my chart. I had like indicators down the bottom here all doing this, right? Then I had all these Ichimoku clouds on my chart. I had Bollinger Bands at one point as well, following price. I had moving average 20s, 50, 100, 200, right? And that is what my chart looked like, right? Because every time I had a losing trade, I would add something to correct that losing trade. And it normally meant I'd add an indicator, right? And I was just constantly chasing my tail in a sea of indicators. And I was lost, right? To be, you know, totally honest with you, totally lost as a trader, losing money, blew an account, you know, in a bad way, right? And then I just stripped it all back down, right? I just stripped it all naked. Yeah, the charts, not myself. That'd be weird. But yeah, just stripped all the charts back and just started reading the charts, right? All the things that I preach or prattle on about, you know, trend and structure, support and resistance, candlesticks, value, and multiple time frames. And once I started stripping it all back and just relying on those things, which are facts, right? When you look at those things, they're all facts on the chart, whereas an indicator is a lagging thing that is derived from the facts. So why would I look at something that is derived from the facts on the chart? Why don't I just look at the facts on the chart, which is simple price action? And then once I understood that and started getting used to reading the charts, as you see what I do now, then that's when my trading journey took a turn for the best, right? And I just started understanding how markets move, how to read the charts, the story of the chart, and yeah, and then I started getting some consistency in my trading, right? And that's your first point of call, right? Your first port of call is just get consistency. Don't worry about making millions of pounds or whatever, right? Just get to a point where you can consistently have more winning trades than losing trades, right? Once you get to that level, you are halfway. CAD then is potentially going to be a good setup. Do have CPI coming out, but I may well take this trade and put it in the VIP Discord very shortly. So there you go, Susie. Yeah, that was my biggest trading mistake. Yeah, and that's what I learned from it. Yeah, just strip it all back. All the information you need is on that chart. I still keep the moving average 20, right? But, you know, I can deal with that. And that's a good little indicator because it tells me a lot of things, right? It acts as dynamic support and resistance. It tells me if something's overbought or oversold in terms of how far price is from the moving average 20. And I also like it as a piece of confluence. If price is above the moving average 20, generally speaking, I'm looking for buys. If price is below the moving average 20, I'm looking for sells, right? So there you go. Mike, hi Mike, how are you? Okay, Susie, more great questions here. Susie, you should write a book of trading questions and give it to me and I will answer them all every day. So Susie's got another great question here. What do you think separates successful traders from unsuccessful ones? It's a good question. You know, everyone says psychology, right? And for me, my own personal story is I just wasn't going to give up, right? If you want something bad enough, whether it's, you know, becoming a professional footballer or becoming an engineer or becoming a vet, right, or becoming a trader, you've got to want to do it, right? And then you've got to have the dedication, tenacity, take all the knocks, right? Trading's given me so many knocks over the years. You know, you've got to take them all on the chin and just keep going. Sound like Rocky, sound like Sylvester Stallone. Maybe I got this from a Rocky film, I'm not sure. But yeah, but you know, jokes aside, if you want something bad enough, you will make it happen, right? So yeah, you know, just determined to do it. And you know, and another big important thing is you must learn from your mistakes. I know that may sound obvious, but you've got to learn from your mistakes, right? And don't repeat them, right? So one thing from an inexperienced trader compared to an experienced trader is an experienced trader they're still going to make mistakes, right? But they're just going to make less mistakes, less frequent than a new trader. A new trader is going to make every mistake they possibly can. And it takes new traders a while to learn from those mistakes. It really does take a while for what it did with me, right? It takes a while for these mistakes to bed in, right? So that's a big difference. You just make less mistakes, right? You're less impulsive. You don't want to jump into the market. You're quite happy sitting out of the market. Like I say, slow, methodical, boring. Whereas new traders, they're like, oh, Tom, I've got to trade. Like, no matter who I mentor, right, one-on-one, every single one of them, and I mentor some experienced traders, right, as well as new traders. But even experienced traders are like, Tom, I've got to trade. I want to trade. The more I'm in the market, the more money I can make. I'm like, that is the worst thing I've ever heard, right? So be okay with being out of the market, right? That's a big skill. Again, it may sound obvious, but it's a big skill. And also, I mean, this is more than one bit of advice, or but yeah, generally, like, you must accept losses, right? That's one big thing I struggle with. You know, when I was talking about indicators, and if I had a losing trade or a losing week, I would change the indicators, change the settings, add an indicator, because I wanted a strategy that had minimal losing trades. And it's nonsense, right? There is no such thing as the holy grail in this, 100% winning strategy, right? It's just all nonsense. You might see some of it on YouTube or whatever, but it's just nonsense, right? You've got to understand that every strategy you have will have losing trades, right? And to give you an idea, last year my winning ratio was over 60%, right? But let's just say 60%. Now, that means I am going to be wrong or have losing trades 40% of the time. And if you think about that for a minute, that is a bloody lot of losing trades, right? Yeah, think of another job in the world where you can be wrong 40% of the time. There isn't one. You would get the sack. Right? If you was a maths teacher and you were wrong 40% of the time, right, you wouldn't be in a job long. If you was a chef and you was wrong 40% of the time, you wouldn't be in a job long, right? Let's try and think. If you was a doctor, right, if you was a brain surgeon, yeah, and you were wrong 40% of the time, right, don't go and see that brain surgeon, right? Because we all need a bit of brain surgery, let's be honest. So it's the only profession where you have to be really okay with being wrong a lot, right? 40% of the time. Some people have lower win percentages, right? Some people have like 52% losing trades, but 48% winning trades, right? But their risk to reward is good. Okay, so you can be wrong even more than you are right and make money. But my point is, you have to accept it, right? Don't keep tinkering it all the time to try and find the holy grail. It don't exist. Trust me, I've tried to find that holy grail. It's nonsense. Don't even try and find it, right? The holy grail is finding a strategy that suits you and your personality and your lifestyle. That's the holy grail. Because I can give you a strategy, a winning strategy that I've proven works, and I'll give it to you and you can't trade it because it doesn't fit your personality or even your lifestyle. Maybe you have a 9-to-5 and you can't scout or whatever, right? So that's the holy grail, finding something that suits you and makes sense to you. All right. And guys, yeah, thank you for all your questions. I'm really enjoying the questions today. Susie, you're bang on it with the questions. And guys, if you've been enjoying the answers, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button and smash the like button. If you want 25% off all of our trading education right now, go visit the website, www.simply-forex.com. And also, guys, please come join our trading community, right? You can talk to like-minded traders, share knowledge, ideas, have a chit chat. Come join our free Discord room. Also, guys, come join us tomorrow, same time, 7 a.m. New York EST time, where we can do this all again and have a chat. All right. Have a good trading day, guys. Adios.